Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today we're going to be talking about Jimmy and Stiggs, or Eli Roth Presents Jimmy and Stiggs. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons, so let's get to it. Pros. Well, Eli Roth, his name is very much shown off here, so I guess it's the only thing we can really talk about is Eli Roth, so let's do it. So Eli Roth, you probably know who this man is. He is known for making some rather notorious horror movies, some very nasty, just gross, just horror movies with pure bad vibes to them. Stuff like Cabin Fever and Hostel and Hostel Part 2 and what else? This is Grindhouse, but that was like the fake trailer for Thanksgiving, which would become a real movie in 2023. Also made Great Inferno, and he made a movie called Death Wish, which I'm pretty sure no one on planet Earth even remembers. But you know what's really funny? This man's highest grossing movie, his most successful movie, was a family movie. Yes, this man who made Hostel Part 2, a movie that one could say is just straight up pure evil, decided, you know what? I'm going to make a family movie. He literally pulled a page out of Zack Snyder's playbook, where Zack went from making Dawn of the Dead, 300, Watchmen, and decided, I'm going to make an animated owl movie because I can. And so, yeah, Eli Roth decided to make The House with a Clock in Its Walls. And it was, again, it was the most successful flick, so it paid off. Like, the risk paid off. It worked. Then after that, he would make Thanksgiving, which I mentioned was based off the fake trailer in Grindhouse, which did solid business. But then he made Borderlands, or at least mostly made Borderlands. Tim Miller directed the movie like during like reshoots. But yeah, Borderlands, oof, eek, came out like a little over a year ago, and it was an absolute disaster, like an unmitigated disaster. It failed at everything. It failed as an adaptation. It failed at being an entertaining movie. It failed at being just generally liked by anyone. It got a D plus cinema score. That is not a normal score you give to a movie like that. Like, I bet you think it would be like a B or a B minus, but a D plus, you really gotta piss people off to get a score like that. So yeah, the movie, it was an absolute bomb, one of the biggest failures of 2024. And you know what's really just, and I can't help but mention this, is the fact that Eli Roth, when he was pitching the movie, you know what gave him inspiration? His dog taking a shit. I'm not making this up. You can go on the Wikipedia page, and there's a whole section about that. And I'm just like, bro, what are we doing? Like, what is going on? Like, how do you get your inspiration from something like that? Like, bruh. Like, let's just stop talking about that because it's such an absurd piece of information. But he's also been on front of the camera too. It's not just behind the camera. He's been like on camera. His most prominent one being Inglorious Bastards. Uh, and what else? Apparently, he was also like on front of the camera in Grindhouse, which I believe was like, I think it was Death Proof. That's what. Yeah, I think Death Proof. But yeah, just Eli Roth. He's very well known in like the horror space. So I imagine like his most hardcore fans would want to at least see what Jimmy and Stiggs is about. I'm willing to bet. So I guess I'll label that as a pro. And that's pretty much the only pro I can really give this movie, because cons, well, the movie hasn't been well received. Grant, there's only like 12 reviews, but it's a 50%, which I can't label a positive. There's no audience score, so time to see what the general vibe is. Not a whole lot here. um, Let me see. Apparently, the few people who've seen it like it. I guess. They got 3.5 stars. This person said this movie was made for people who love B sci-fi. I don't think they know how to say. Like, you're missing a C there. A sci-fi slasher movie. Love the gore and how intense it gets. The way they did the alien's blood was a nice touch. 1 5 stars says success in 1.5 hours, and then a shit ton of explanation points. The 5 stars says real fun splatterfest. It's cool. Okay. And they got a 1/2 star that says Eli Roth and in theaters are two phrases that might be acceptable every once in a while as separate terms, but when combined, they bring you and your wallet only regret. This person's not a big Eli Roth fan. But I mean, I guess there's the few people who watched it liked it, but really does that matter if like very few people are watching? So yeah, reviews are a con. Audience reaction is a bit more positive, but I don't think it's gonna help anything really. But another big con is the fact that, lack of buzz, lack of anything. Like, no one's talking about this movie at all. No one's really talking about anything this weekend. And like, it's nothing's popping off. And that's because we're in the dog days of summer where the mid-late August period can be real dreadful at times. And this year is no exception. So, yeah. So just the time this is coming out, that's a con. Another con is there's only like 600 something theaters, so it's barely a wide release. So that guarantees that this movie's not going to make any money. So that's a con as well. And I guess there's the fact that in terms of like horror movies, I mean, yeah, Weapons tearing it up, and that's very much going to win the weekend. It's probably going to win the rest of August if I'm going to be honest. But there's been like a real like a oversaturation of horror movies. A lot of people have noticed that, where it just feels like there's just a flood of them coming out, and only the strong survive. Like, you have some that do really well, like Sinners, Final Destination Bloodlines, Weapons, 28 years later. But you have a bunch of them that just like underwhelm or just go unseen. And or just do like okay. And it's not going to get any better as the year goes on, especially in September and October. So, yeah. Yeah, just oversaturation of horror. That's a con, definitely. Another con. I think, is that it? I feel that's it. I think I've mentioned like everything I need to mention. Yeah. Well, I guess like iconic releasing. Like, what have they released? Okay, they haven't really released much of anything of like real importance. Look at the first Terrifier, I guess, but I think it's Cineverse. They released like Terrifier 3, which was a big hit, last year. But this is very much not going to be a Terrifier level hit. So, yeah, label that as a, I guess who's releasing. I'll label that as a con. And I think that's it. So opening weekend, less than 1 million guaranteed. I'd be shocked if it made $1 million total. But I'm gonna say less than 500K opening weekend. Final total like less than 1 million, and that's it. Okay, we're getting through this. We got 3 more. We got highest to lowest, then Nobody 2, then Shin Godzilla, and then we're done. So, yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got a playlist on the homepage. All previous prediction videos I made this year, past few years. You want to watch any of them? Go right ahead. There's also box office box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. Um, I just did my July recap like about last week, and then my August recap will come out the second weekend of September, and then my summer recap, which will be a two-parter, that will be in late September. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. There's also the uh, the canceled series, where I went over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. Never talked about any, Jimmy and Sticks. Never talked about it at all. So stay tuned. Not to stay tuned. Ignore that. But never talked about it. But if you want to watch any other 250 episodes of Cancel I've made, you want to binge watch it from beginning to now, I highly suggest you do that. So go do it. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.